There's a moment every man experiences when he realizes that strength isn't about power, but understanding. The day you learn this truth, your relationships stop being battles and start becoming connections. For years, society taught men to chase, to win, to dominate, but never to listen. We learned how to attract attention, not how to build trust. We were told women want perfection, when what they really crave is presence. Most men are taught how to attract, not how to connect. They learn the art of chasing, but not the language of empathy. They learn to speak louder, but never to listen deeper. And in that silence between what's said and what's felt, most relationships fall apart. Today we're going to talk about that truth, the one no one explains. Because once men truly understand this, every relationship, every connection, every moment of love transforms forever. And that misunderstanding has broken more hearts than dishonesty ever could. Today, I want to talk about what truly changes everything, not tricks, not games, but awareness. When a man understands how emotions, respect, and safety shape attraction, he stops trying to control love and starts learning how to grow with it. This isn't a story about men versus women. It's a story about how both sides have been misled and how awareness can heal what ego has destroyed. From the very beginning, boys are told to be tough. Don't cry, don't show weakness, don't need anyone. So they grow up believing that emotions make them fragile, when in reality, emotions make them human. The truth is, emotional awareness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When a man ignores his emotions, he doesn't become strong. He becomes disconnected himself from his partner, from his feelings, from himself. Most men enter relationships trying to prove something, to show they're enough, to show control, to show confidence. But confidence isn't loud. It's calm. It's the ability to stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. Love isn't a contest to win. It's a connection to nurture. And when you understand that, the way you see relationships completely changes. Emotional intelligence is the ability to feel, recognize, and respond, not react. When your partner is upset, emotional intelligence stops you from defending yourself and helps you understand what they need. It's not about fixing every problem. It's about making the other person feel safe enough to express theirs. The strongest men aren't the ones who speak over others. They're the ones who create space for others to be heard. That's what women truly remember, not your money, not your looks, but how you made them feel. When a man listens with empathy instead of ego, he becomes unforgettable. Because love isn't built on perfection. It's built on presence. You see, most men hear, but few truly listen. They focus on what's being said, not what's being felt. But understanding someone means reading between the lines, noticing silence, body language, tone, energy. When a woman withdraws, she's not always rejecting you. Sometimes she's protecting herself. When she argues, it's not always anger, sometimes it's pain. And when she grows quiet, it's rarely because she's calm, understood. It's because she's tired of not being understood. The secret? Don't listen to respond, listen to understand. Once you start hearing the emotions behind the words, the connection becomes deeper than you ever imagined. That's when trust is built, not in grand gestures, but in consistent understanding. You want to know the most attractive thing about a man? It's not his car, his wallet, or his muscles. It's the way he respects boundaries. Respect creates safety. Safety creates attraction. Because love doesn't thrive where people feel pressured. It thrives where people feel safe. When a woman knows she can say no without fear, that's when she starts saying yes from her heart. When she knows she won't be judged for her feelings, she starts expressing them freely. Respect isn't just polite, it's magnetic. Men who respect women don't lose power, they gain trust. And trust is the foundation of every great connection. When two people connect, the body and mind synchronize. Heartbeats align, breathing matches. The body mirrors what the heart feels. Science calls this emotional resonance. It's what makes love so powerful and so fragile. If one person feels anxious or unsafe, the other person senses it instantly. That's why communication and calmness are everything. A calm mind creates a calm atmosphere. When you understand this, intimacy becomes more than physical. It becomes emotional. It's not about how much you do, it's about how present you are while doing it. There's a difference between being confident and being controlling. Confidence says, I know who I am. Ego says, I need you to prove who I am. The first builds connection. the second destroys it. A man with real confidence doesn't need to dominate the room, he changes it by being calm, kind, and grounded. He doesn't need validation because his worth isn't based on others' reactions. That's the kind of energy that draws people in quietly, powerfully, authentically. So if you want to lead in love, start by leading yourself. Master your emotions, learn your triggers, practice patience. That's real strength. Every misunderstanding in love comes from one missing thing: awareness. When you stop seeing your partner as the problem and start seeing them as a person with pain, the entire relationship shifts. Awareness doesn't mean agreeing with everything, it means understanding why it matters to them. And when you do that, you stop fighting to be right and start working to be close. Love grows when awareness grows. The moment you see your partner's humanity, arguments turn into conversations and pain turns into understanding. That's the magic most people miss. Leadership in love isn't about control. It's about guidance through understanding. When a man can stay patient, gentle in anger, and kind in confusion, that's when he becomes truly powerful. Empathy doesn't make you soft, it makes you wise. And wisdom is what makes relationships last. Every woman remembers how you made her feel, not how you proved your point. So choose presence over pride, choose awareness over argument, choose understanding over victory. That's what leadership in love looks like. Once you understand that real strength lies in softness, that trust is built in respect, and that love grows in safety, you stop chasing love and start creating it. You stop asking, "How can I win her?" and you start asking, "How can we grow together?" That shift changes everything. It changes how you talk, how you touch, how you love. And when that happens, relationships stop feeling like battles and start feeling like partnerships. Love isn't something you conquer, it's something you understand. Once men learn this truth, the entire story of relationships changes. Because women don't want perfection. They want peace. They want presence. They want partnership. And that starts with awareness. The kind of awareness that transforms ordinary men into extraordinary partners. So remember this: understanding is power, kindness is strength, and awareness changes everything. I'm Dr. Nova, and this is how real love begins. Real awareness isn't dramatic, it happens quietly, in small, almost invisible decisions. When she speaks, and you actually stop scrolling your phone. When she shares something heavy and you resist the urge to fix it right away. When you admit you're tired, instead of pretending you're fine. Those little moments tell your partner, "You're safe with me." Awareness is built not through grand gestures, but through the ordinary grace of consistency. Because consistency tells the truth that words can't. Every man carries the voice of his past. Maybe a childhood where feelings weren't welcomed, maybe a heartbreak that built walls instead of wisdom. Healing begins when you stop running from those voices and start listening to them. You can't build connection on top of unspoken pain. But once you name it, once you face it, it loses power over you. You stop repeating old cycles. You start responding instead of reacting. That's when relationships stop being mirrors of your past and start being bridges to your future. Many men approach love as a performance, trying to impress, trying to prove. But love isn't theater, it's teamwork. The question isn't, did I do it perfectly? It's, did we feel connected while doing it? Partnership is when both people feel seen and supported. When you stop competing with each other and start protecting each other. When your partner's joy becomes your victory too. That's where peace replaces pressure and connection replaces confusion. There's a certain calm that comes from being around someone emotionally secure. They don't panic when things go wrong. They don't punish mistakes. They listen, breathe, and rebuild. That kind of calm is magnetic. It makes people want to stay, not out of fear, but because they feel understood. Becoming emotionally secure doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you know how to move through it with grace. And when a man learns that skill, every relationship around him starts to heal. Strength isn't how loud you speak, it's how well you listen. It's how gently you handle someone else's heart when it's fragile. A real man isn't the one who never falls. He's the one who learns how to rise without making others fall with him. He doesn't fight love, he fights for it. He doesn't hide emotion, he honors it. That's the kind of strength that builds legacies, not just relationships. When understanding becomes your habit, everything changes. Arguments turn into problem solving. Distance turns into space for growth. Silence turns into reflection. Every word, every reaction, every small act becomes an investment in peace. Because love isn't something that just happens, it's something There's a quiet moment in every man's life when something finally clicks. When he realizes that love isn't about being powerful, it's about being present. That trust doesn't come from control, it comes from consistency. When that shift happens, you start seeing your partner not as someone to conquer, but as someone to connect with. You stop asking, "What do I get from this?" and start asking, "How can I make this safe for both of us?" That's the moment maturity replaces pride, and that's when love becomes effortless. It's not because people stop loving, it's because they stop understanding. They forget that intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional energy. You can't hold someone's body if you've already dropped their trust. You can't expect connection if you avoid communication. Most relationships break not because of big fights, but because of small silences, unspoken needs, avoided talks, withheld affection. But here's the truth. Every silence can be broken with honesty. Every misunderstanding can be softened with patience. It's never too late to learn how to love again properly this time. Men are taught to win, but love isn't a battlefield, it's a bridge. Ego builds walls, empathy builds connection. The moment you start seeing your partner's emotions as important as your own, something magical happens. Tension turns into teamwork. You stop trying to fix her feelings and start feeling them with her. And that's where emotional intimacy truly begins. It's not about giving up your strength, it's about using it differently. To protect, to understand, to build peace instead of pressure. Men who can name what they feel become unstoppable. Because words shape reality. Saying "I'm scared," "I feel distant," or "I miss you" doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. And realness builds connection faster than perfection ever could. Once you bring emotional language into your relationship, love stops being a mystery, it becomes a conversation. A living, breathing dialogue that grows with every shared truth.